I'm in Prague. It's the capital of the Czech Republic. This is Wenceslas Square, named after King Wenceslas I, as in good King Wenceslas. There's a lot going on in the square, mostly aimed at getting money out of the tourists. Are you from Czech Republic? Where are you from? Where?
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Huh? Okay. Thank you. This is my first taste of Czech beer. It's called Cambrinus. Like all Czech beer, it's extremely good. I've got a goulash soup here, which is in a huge piece of bread and fantastic. Only 99 Czech krona. Oh, delicious. This June turned out to be the hottest ever in Prague since records began.
Everywhere.
There's something quirky about Prague, something decidedly odd. The art and designs of buildings, both old and new, often take you by surprise. But then remember, this used to be Bohemia, from where we get the very word Bohemian. The artwork in the galleries seems eager to distort our cosy views of reality. But sometimes in Prague, it does become reality. I'm walking back to the centre to get a look at Prague's amazing medieval astronomical clock. But on the way there, I stopped for another of Prague's famous dishes. This is a pork knuckle. It's a famous dish out here, pork knuckle. I'm not quite sure how you eat it. It's very tasty, very tasty. It comes with a mild mustard and horseradish sauce, and a very tiny bit of salad. It's certainly an unusual meal. There's enough meat for 5 people. It's just too much. I've been defeated. It's never ending. Way too much pork. I'm getting nearer to the clock. and more tourists are heading that way.
Please, sir.
People have been staring at this amazing clock for centuries. This is one of the oldest medieval mechanical clocks in the world. The clock was first built in 1410. It shows the position of the sun and the moon and the signs of the zodiac in the sky. After the clock, I head back to my hotel. Near to my hotel, once again Bohemia stops me in my tracks. This is Prague's famous statue of Sigmund Freud. Sometimes it's mistaken to be a suicide attempt. I don't know why he's hanging like that, but it's probably got some deep psychological or Freudian meaning. Later on, I try another classic Czech dish, pickled cheese. It's a soft camembert-like cheese, pickled in oil, spices, garlic and chili peppers. It's spicy hot and creamy. One thing I haven't been able to work out is the coins here. I know that these are worth quite a lot, but I don't know how much, because I can't read anything on it, and it looks like it isn't worth much. After careful examination, I discover that this one is actually a 20, and this one is a 50. But that's actually a lot. It's half of this. If you get something like that, don't throw it away or just give it as a tip, because it's worth quite a lot. Next day, I head to Prague's Lego Museum. This is the Star Wars bit. These must be really old Lego sets. This is Gold Lane, playground for alchemists. And Franz Kafka is supposed to have stayed here. I'm not sure where. I begin to see how Kafka got his bizarre writing ideas from living in a city like this. I'm coming into the old Jewish area of Prague now. It's also called Josephov. And at one time all the Jews were forced to come and live here.
Por 5 euros, o sea, unas valen 15, 16 y la otra vale 4 o 5 euros y todas cuestan unos 20 euros para verlas.
Some of Prague's Jews who'd somehow survived the war chose to return to Prague, where they quietly tried to return to their former lives. I go back to Wenceslas Square one last time.
Until we decide we don't want to fill it. Right.
There's one last thing I want to do here. Watch the famous old clock striking 12 o'clock midday. But just as the hands reach 12 o'clock, there's a nasty surprise for all the tourists. I suspect the restaurants have got sick of the crowds at midday disturbing their business, so this happens. It's like they found an old air raid warning siren left over from World War II. Let's turn the siren down and look at some of the details on the clock. The 4 figures at the side that start moving on the hour represent 4 evil things despised at the time that the clock was made. There is vanity, holding a mirror, greed, holding a bag of gold, death, which strikes the hour, and lust, holding a saucy musical instrument representing earthly pleasures. The 4 evil vices shake their heads as the clock chimes, meaning that they are not yet ready to leave humanity. The crowds leave, looking pretty disappointed that the horrible noise has spoilt the spectacle.
Those inscriptions are actually Czech names, which one of the ways the Czechs came up with many years ago by preserving the old Czech names, as it started having something here called name days.
So it's back to the Charles Bridge where I started, and it's time to leave this uniquely fascinating city. Massive white swans